everybody's doing well. So we're going to take a look and see what it is that you need to know. I went ahead and pre-picked all of these cards. I haven't seen the cards themselves yet, but I did pre-pick these charms just to save some time. So there's two different oracles that we're going to look at here. One of the oracles is going to show us what it is that you need to know, and the other one is going to give us a representation of maybe what you're not seeing. So we'll see if those two kind of fit together, or if it's maybe one situation and then a totally different one. I don't really know how that's going to play out, so we'll just look at it when we get into the reading. And the purple oracle that you see in the back is the energy and spirit oracles, and the one that you see up front here is the ancient stone oracles. Okay, so the first one here, you have this key, so that will be pile 1. Pile 2, you have this seahorse, and then pile 3, you have the diamond heart. Okay, so if you need it, as always, there'll be a little bit of a meditation after the intro. If you want to, if you need it, just pause the screen and close your eyes and take a big deep breath, and then hold it at the top for a few seconds. Let your breath out, and when you open your eyes, which pile is it that you immediately just feel connected to, feel drawn into? It could also be that you may have been seeing one of these charms as a symbol. You may have talked about it even, and then here it is. Or maybe you're looking into something specific and there is a charm here that makes you think about that. So just take how it fits for you. Whatever it feels, go with it. If you feel drawn to 2, as always, there could be a message there, another message for you, or it could also represent some advice, perhaps to give to a friend, or some seeds that you can plant to help someone out that's very close to you, very connected to you. Or maybe it's just a message where you're needing to understand someone else's point of view or perspective, and that is why you're so drawn to that pile, okay? So timestamps for everything will be down below, and I will see you at your pile. Hey, pile 1. So if you chose the key here, what is the key? So what do you need to know, pile 1? So with the key being chosen, I feel like you're looking for something. I think that some of you may be looking for your keys. I mean, who knows? You could be. But it could also be that you're looking for the key to something. So we'll take that into consideration for your reading. This can be, actually something physical, or it could just be, the key to, what's the key to life? I'm probably not gonna be able to tell you that here, but it may just be where you are in like planning something. So why I say planning is because with this charm, I always think about this right here being an X, or being at a crossroads. Some of y'all may be trying to figure out what's the key to closing a deal, closing a cycle, closing a pattern. The 3 here, 3 diamonds, represent to me the 3 of Pentacles. And so this has to do with maybe some kind of commitment or committing to something. Of course, we see this key sometimes in the tarot, and some illustrators use that as the ace. So I would say that the Ace of Swords, but it could be an Ace of Pentacles. So you may be committing to something new, something grounded, something solid, and seeing the truth or clarity around that. Maybe that's what you're looking for as far as this key goes. What's the key? Okay. So actually, let's put this here. Why not? Let's see what your cards are. First card you have is, now as I described in the introduction, if you missed out on that, the first card that we're going to look into is going to be about what you need to know. And then the second card is going to be about what you're not seeing. So these could be one thing, this could go together. So we're just going to see how it plays out, okay? Okay, so the first card that we have here for what you need to know is weather the storms, let it change you, embrace the unexpected. Okay, so for some of you, I feel like it's almost like she's standing here and she's controlling the weather instead of allowing the weather to control her. Or so there's something here that you're experiencing or going through that you may not actually necessarily want to be going through. It's something that wasn't a choice, but it is something that you feel like is unexpected. But it is something that you may feel like it will change you, or it could change you. And you have to decide, is that going to be for the better or worse? You know, we get thrown obstacles all the time. And it's like, how are you going to handle this obstacle? How are you going to see this obstacle? And you may be struggling with that. Like, how can I change my mindset to where I can see this as something that could change me for the better, something that could be good for me? And embrace the unexpected, you know? Okay. Some of you may have a tower moment in front of you and you know it's there and you know it's coming, and you're already in this like mindset of, how am I going to handle this? How am I going to deal with this? So that way you're not, like, you're trying to remain stable in your mindset going into this. So that way you're not so chaotic and you don't overreact or underreact. Okay. And so sorry, I haven't done this reading like this before, and I feel like I need to stop here for a minute, and then we'll take a look at what you're not seeing, okay? I think we need to focus on this first, so we're going to do that. This is not the way I expected to do things, but that's just what happens in a reading. So we're going to get right into the tarot, actually, and then we'll get some oracle cards here in a bit, or if I need them as I go, okay? We're kind of playing this by ear, or by cards, by the table. This is the Wisdom of the Cat Tarot. Yes, I did say that like a question. No, it's the Tales of the Mystical Cats. I was way off on that one. One more, guys. Okay, here we go. What does pile 1 need to know? The Three of Fire. Okay, so this is about planning. Okay, this is where you're standing there. You actually have the plan that you want, but you're standing there and you're waiting. We talked about how you may have a tower moment in front of you for some of you, or you're just kind of waiting. You're waiting to feel a certain way. You're waiting for something to happen. Some of you, this has something to do with a new beginning and starting over, starting fresh, because there's a lot of white energy that's here, which is about like purity and starting a clean slate. So something like this is here. So it's like looking at waiting and thinking, okay, this could be a clean slate for me, actually. Maybe I'm just not really looking at it in the right way. I need to look at this as either a clean slate or starting over, or look at it as, maybe you're looking at a person this way even, you know, for some of you. Let's keep going. We have the Hermit, which is Virgo energy, so that's thinking. Lots of thinking. Lots of analyzing going on. Let's just get one more. I don't actually feel a lot from the Hermit, which is strange because the Hermit is all about thinking. So I feel like for some of you, you may be already on the far end of this. Like, because of the Three of Wands, you obviously already have a plan or some sort of idea, you know, plan A, plan B kind of thing going into this. But you're really trying to stabilize that thought. The promise to yourself of not overreacting or underreacting in this situation so that you can get the best out of the situation is so strong. And you're trying to ground that idea. Because in this tree, you have these pomegranates, and pomegranates mean like prosperity. And I feel like this has kind of reminded me, it's weird, it's the Hermit, but it's reminding me of the Nine of Pentacles, and which is also a grounded energy, which is a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. So you may have one of these placements heavy in your sign. Of course, you don't have to. You definitely need to put in the houses in there as well to try to figure that out. But and what this situation is to you, but what area it is in your chart or your life. Because some of you, I think that this is like a life choice or a life change, and then some of you, it's more of an idea of how you're seeing a perspective of a situation. If that makes sense. This reading is, I feel like this is I feel it's deep, so I feel like that this is a big thing, not something small at all. Consequences just came out, which is justice here. I need to double check that. I don't know why. I know what that is. I'm not going to. It's justice. I'm not going to waste y'all's time. This is justice. I know it. Okay. Maybe that's what you're worried about. You're worried about wasting your time for some of you. You're trying to figure out what's fair, what's right, what's equal, what's balanced for you, what you need to be doing. And you're getting your mind off of all of the wants and more of what you need. That's what you're most focused on. That's Libra energy also. Come here. Well, that's interesting. So this is the Page of Cups in the reverse. There's a part of you here that feels, you know what this feels? You know what this feels like? It feels like when you're faced with a decision that's so big or a situation that's so meaningful to you that you feel the innocence of it. Like it would be like when you're a kid and there's something that's really big that you are making a decision on to you when you're a kid, and there's a playfulness to this, you know. Let's just say, you know, you have to make a decision, you know, when you're a kid, it's like some things are a real big deal in your head. Like, what color of bike are you gonna pick? You know, what road are you gonna go down? What color of bike are you going to pick? And when you're a kid, it's like, that's a big deal. Like, do I really want a blue bike? I'm going to have to ride that around for however long my parents decide I need a new one. That could be forever, you know? Or do I want a red bike? You know, like, but so-and-so has a red bike. I don't know if I want a red bike. Like, you know, when you're a kid and there's some kind of fun and playfulness behind this in some way that I think that with this being in reverse, it's like Spirit's trying to pull that part out of you so that you can see it like almost through an innocence. See it through an innocent way. Like you are, like that purity is coming back into play here. Also for some of you, there's something to do with, I just heard in my head not living up to your expectations. Let's keep going because that took my thought from me. There's some insecurities underlining this reading. And I think that you may be so kind of fixated on the logical side or the focused on what the need is, that you may be undermining some of your wants in this situation. Or this is what you're wondering, this is what you're curious about. Because even if you're making a choice for yourself and it's something that you feel like is right for you or something that you need, there's still this tendency to want, of course. So even if you have to make that decision, you put yourself into a place to where, okay, I have to find some things here that I want in order to ultimately be in balance with yourself. That's what's going on here with this. But you can't do that in just logic. You have to get to more of a playful energy because it's the things that you want. So these are the things that make you happy. So you have to put your head into that space. I'm going to be really tired after this reading. I can tell this is like a very dense and like fixated. It's weird too because there's a lot of things that are going on around you as well. There's a lot of pulls that you feel here, there, and everywhere from other people, from other, feelings about other people and things like this that are all different kinds of feelings from others in a way that are pulling on the outside of you in this situation. Like it's interfering as well. Because even if you can't like see all the situation, so I'm picturing myself right now, there's like a bubble around me, but I can't see out of the bubble, but I know that there's like these, like around me, there's a lot of different types of conversations that are going on and a lot of different types of people. And you can hear them muffled like all around you, but you're trying to stay in this bubble. You're trying to not let your mindset, your head, and all the chaos that's going on in there about other people and outside situations, and you're trying to fixate on just actually what you want. And I think you're having a hard time. This is what we're looking at with what's the key here. Why is the... I notice when I channel sometimes maybe I'm just coming out too fast, but I do stutter, I don't do that normally. I don't think. Okay, anyway. So why is the Three of Wands here? I know I can mess up some words for sure. You have Death, Scorpio energy right here. So this is what you're preparing for, is this change. Death is about transformation. I'm being called to something. Hold on. You notice in this card, this looks, maybe not to y'all, but I guess in my mind while I'm doing this reading, this looks similar to me. These four, this is like you're trying to make peace with yourself. You're trying to make peace with something inside yourself when it comes to this decision that's already been in the process. It's already been processing in some way. You're just trying to find peace with it. You have control of this at this time. It's just because it's just this is like a mindset that will pass. So you're just gearing up for this new beginning in some way, and you're trying to leave fear behind you. Why is the Hermit here? That's the Six of Fire. This is about how you can be successful. How you can be successful in whatever this is. You want to be able to reach the other side of that battle that you're experiencing. You want to be able to release yourself from that and win the challenge, win the battle that Spirit's given you in this situation. Overcome the obstacle, overcome the fear. And you're fixated and focused on this, on winning, on overcoming these things and being successful here with this. What's the Justice? This is the Fire Tom, which is the Knight of Wands. So you're going to see, staying in this mindset that you're in and the focus that you have at this time, you will overcome this. There is this. Now, by me saying that, don't undermine the challenge itself, by me saying that. Keep continuing to be in this mindset and being focused here. There's just saying to add a little bit of playfulness to it, to the other possibilities, not just the needs, but that there's some wants there look at some of the positive aspects of what you're going to be experiencing, because without it, in the long term, it's not going to have the same effect for you. So whatever you're choosing, how you're choosing it or having to choose in that direction, just make sure that you're making it fun. Okay? Don't put too much pressure on yourself about making that decision, because then it kind of defeats the whole purpose of what you really desire in the first place, which is peace and balance. So, okay. Stay in that energy, you know. Why is the... I'm going to have to take a drink, guys. Sorry. This made me think about when I just had to stop and take a drink. This is the page of cups, and the cups are water, are the emotions, and maybe there's something to do with you needing to take a break. And some of this might have to do with just giving yourself a break. Just give yourself a break. I drink tea every night with different types of tea in it, obviously. But one is the same, but I always put a little extra something in there. You know, for mood or to help me sleep or whatever the case. And it said something to me last night. What did it say? Go easy on yourself. It said go easy on yourself. That's what this is about. This is saying give yourself a break. You maybe have been asking that from everybody else. You know, God, give me a break. You know, I'm having a hard time. Give me a break. I'm having to do this or whatever. But you haven't stuck to that to yourself because you've been so focused and, you know, that you're not at least giving yourself a little bit of a mental break here and step into this page energy so that you can also add a little fantasy to it, you know. That's where all the manifestation, you know, does good. Add a little bit of fantasy to that of what could actually happen from this. What is the surprising things that could come out of this? You know, like put your head in that place to where, you know, I can only imagine what the possibilities would look like and the happiness that I could obtain, you know, and make sure that you're remembering to include that in with this focus, okay? And taking a break may be a big part of that. This is the Knight of Pentacles. Slow down a little bit. That's what they're saying with this Knight of Wands and this Knight of Pentacles. It's like saying, hey, we get it. You want the changes and you want to be successful. You want to transform. You want to be successful. You feel like you need this feeling of overcoming these obstacles here. You want to be in this. I just got to, you know, think straight and look forward and just keep focused and go, go, go. And with the Knight of Wands, and they're saying, the Knight of Pentacles, you know, so slow down just a little bit. And some of you, there's a child, maybe a child here that you're fixating on even. Or maybe this is part of what brings something out in you. But there's a small cat here for the page. And then this is the Tom that's carrying the cat. So something may have to do with that. With this need to take a break or slow down. Some of you, this is... Give me a card for what I'm thinking right now. The High Priestess. No. That it is. The High Priestess. Yes, it is. No, it's not. It's the Hierophant. I knew what the card was. I couldn't say it right. I kept wanting to say High Priestess. That's strange. Maybe you should stop thinking about the things that you know and start going into the things that maybe you don't know. That's so funny to me because for that to pop in my head. Because I've been saying that to my middle child a lot. He's just remarkably smart. And he fixates on certain things. He focuses on certain things, which makes him so, I mean, he's interesting. He knows so many like crazy facts and just random stuff, because even I think when he was like 6 years old, he got just obsessed with the Titanic. Like, he is my old soul child for sure. And I always tell him he's so smart. But, I went to a parent conference, and I know my son, so I know this about him, so it kind of made me laugh inside. But they talked about how great he was, how good he is with the other students, and he helps them. He'll stay after class and help his teachers. He's that kid. And they'd say all these good things, and then they say, but he does like to argue with us. I'm like, yeah, I know. He gets fixated, like he thinks he knows everything about stuff, because he does know everything about some stuff. And he thinks he's smarter than everybody, because he is smarter than me most of the time. And I'm an adult, right? But I have to tell him, I was like, Brady, honey, if you keep thinking that you know everything, then you're not leaving room for new things. And sometimes those new things that you learn come from people like me, your mother. And I feel that here. It's like there may be some things here that maybe even advice, that there may be advice that you're getting. I think one of the worst things that I used to say, that it kind of makes sense, but you really have to be careful about how you're looking into it, is don't ever ask advice from someone that you don't want their life. Because I can tell you right now, I know a lot of people in my life that wishes things would have been different for them, and they can tell you where they went wrong, and that right there is great advice. Because that's one obstacle that you can mark off of your list. So don't dismiss some people's advice because you're just trying to focus on your own goal. Because, Spirit, God, or whatever you want to say, universe, they send helpers our way when we ask for help. And definitely if you've been asking for help, don't dismiss that. Okay. That's what that was about. I hope this reading makes sense, because it's extremely deep with what you're thinking here. There's the Fool. That would be taking that chance, that risk. And the Nine of Wands, releasing the fear of taking that risk is something that's here. Nine of Wands in reverse is stop being so hard on yourself. Give yourself a break from time to time. Mental break, physically break, a break to go into that place where you can fantasize and come up with these perspectives that you may not be looking at. It's just taking this, God could just suck the fun right out of life. And even though there are things that are important, and there are things that we need, and we have to stay fixated on those things, but you can just add a little bit of fun into it. It does help you find the balance and peace that it is that you're looking for about making the decision in the first place. You know what I mean? Yeah. See? This is, to me, what I was thinking earlier in my head with the bubble. This is the Six of Swords, and this is walking away from all of this confusion and chaos and everything else. And that's the thing, when you give yourself a mental break, that's what you're doing, is you're walking away from that confusion and chaos and all that stuff that's like going on in your head, momentarily, even if that's the case, but you're still leaving some space to dream. You have the Good Kitty, which is the Judgment in reverse. Some of you may be fearing judgment from others, or someone in particular, with the King of Pentacles here. This could also represent like the way that you're being seen by others, meeting your expectations. I did say something like that, didn't I? Earlier, it popped in my head. Capricorn energies there, and Scorpio's there as well. And then you have Aries here with the cat, in Aquarius in reverse. So again, Aquarius energy, I know, right? And I talked about that too. I talked about like you knowing everything and staying focused on what it is that you're focused on, not receiving the help from outside of you because you're blocking everything out. But there's some good bits and pieces there, maybe coming from unfamiliar or unexpected places. That's something your card said. Embrace the unexpected. And then you can still take a risk and be cautious, when they say taking a risk and throwing caution to the wind. That's not what I'm seeing here. I feel like that you're, in a well, mature, balanced place with making this decision. You've looked up the precautions of this going into it. And then you have this Nine of Fire, which in reverse is saying, let go of the weight that you're carrying around, or whatever it is that you feel like the need to fight the other. That's another thing. Some of y'all may be doing this to spite somebody, or like maybe not fully, but there may be a piece of you that kind of wants to outdo or overdo somebody or something like that. And it's saying, don't fixate on that either. If you really are saying that you're going to do this for yourself, or you need to do this for yourself, make it more focused on yourself. It's something that's here, and not because of anything else. That's another way to focus in the healthiest way, when you are looking after your own needs, and you're not just looking after what, mama wants and sister wants and the neighbor down the street's interested in, or what they want, or how I'm being seen by this stranger over here I don't even know, never see again, or, or my best friend even, it's like all these kind of insecurities. Just don't let that overtake you to where you're not focusing on, I'm getting my needs met here, and B, I want to be doing something that, or going in a direction that seems prosperous and seems like it could bring me happiness and balance. Okay. I'm going to get one card for advice. I did not know how this reading was going to go. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm only at 30 minutes. We're going to do this because I done promised y'all. And so I'm going to clear this out. Sorry y'all had to see me argue with myself, but, I'm trying to go on the fly of what this is. So let's do this. We're going to leave this out. We're going to put this one over here. So this one here is going to represent what it is that you can't see at this time. Maybe you're not seeing it because you don't want to. Maybe you're not seeing it because you just can't see it. But it is something that you can't see at this time, okay? That you need to. We have... This goes with that. I guarantee you this goes with what we just talked about. It says number 19, letting go of urgency, surrender, freedom from the time restraints. So this is one thing, and this will help you in that key as well. This is one thing that you're not seeing that is important. Let's do this. Is to let go of the need of urgency, getting something done in a particular time. And I know I feel getting yelled at here because I feel like some of y'all are saying, well, no, I have a timeline, I have a deadline I have to meet. It's not talking about so much so that that's not there. It's just saying, if we don't do things very well when we're in a hurry sometimes. Some of us do. I mean, there are some of us that thrive like that, I guess. I haven't met very many of those people, but I know they're out there. And if you contact me, I will put you to work in my house, because if being in a hurry is how you get things done, that's something that I need, I feel like, in my life, because I am slow at everything I do. That's something that's here. is maybe you're struggling with that as well, like trying to pay attention more to your time and how you're spending your time. If you're focused in on exactly like, okay, I have to do this at this time and this at this time and this and this time and this time, you're like giving your brain a schedule, and again, you're not leaving space to have that, dreamy, like playful, fun energy. I think you need to put some free time in all your times. That's something that's here. Let go of the urgency. Give yourself the break that you're looking for, whatever that is. Make sure that when you're setting aside time, you always set aside a time to have free time. Okay? That's what they're saying here. Surrender, freedom from time constrictions. Did I say constrictions? Some of y'all, I feel like, are fixated on the fact that you have some time constrictions. So maybe you're in a crunch when you do have free time. You are making yourself time for that, but it goes by quickly, or maybe you haven't been able to get to that for some of you. Even if that means that you have to get up early, or you have to go to bed sooner, there's something here to say. You need to make that time for yourself, because I think that would be so overall beneficial for you, because that's the number 19, which again is talking about joy, joy in your life, but it's also clarity and new beginnings, clarity about new beginnings. I think that this would really change around for you if you, at least with your mindset, if you would let go of that thought of having to do something quickly, or your urgency here. Urgency. What is this about? What is this about? One more shuffle. Nope. I'm going to have to do it again. 2 more shuffles. That one didn't play out. Okay, there we go. That's the 7 of... That's the 7 of Cups. Now I'm laughing because if you read tarot, you know that goes a card of fantasy. Let's keep going. I want to get the whole spread out now. Tell me more about this, what they need to see. Look at that. Star in reverse. What's that? That's about dreaming. That's about a dream. That's about a wish that you have. When it's in reverse, it's like you're losing hope around this wish because you're not putting yourself in this fantasy. Yeah, this could actually lead to a downfall. Especially if you're telling yourself, I'm not happy about this, but it's something I have to do. Be careful of the words that you use when you're talking to yourself. Because if all your universe is hearing is, I know I'm not going to be happy here, I know I'm not going to be happy here, and what it's putting out there is, no, okay, they're not going to be happy here, so make sure you write that down. Take it literal like that in your head, then change it up. Say something in a different way. Is I'll probably be happy down the road. I'm not telling you have to be happy about it, whatever's going on here in this moment, but you can say, it will balance itself out. It'll all make sense in the future. All these kind of things. Other than the negative. What else do they need to know about the time restraints? It's Aquarius energy there too, by the way. You have a King of Cups, Scorpio energy. It's funny too, because the number 19 is actually Leo, and Leo is about children. Well, not all of it, but it's about creativity and children and being playful and fun and creative. That is where your creative. I told y'all, didn't I tell you? Your creativity is. That was frustrating. This is where your creativity is. This is something that I did not say earlier I should have with that page of Cups. it is where your creativity is. Not only is it where like you find your happiness about what you're doing in the future, or the possibilities of that even, or balance and all this other stuff that will bring you peace, but it also provides, I did say manifestation. That's where I should have went with that, but it provides a space for you to actually manifest something. Some of y'all are there now, and that's why this message is coming through. In this manifestation that you're having, in this thought process, make sure that you're including some of these good things in what you're telling yourself, because that's what's going to manifest, in the future. So this is advice on, let go of this urgency as far as what it is that you're telling yourself and the reasons behind that, so that you're not manifesting unhappiness here. The King of Pentacles in the reverse. These two cards right here look like fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. Some of you may be having a really hard time, like putting some time into your schedule for yourself, just to take a break or have fun or whatever the case. And it's saying to keep trying, but make sure that you're determined to have that. So like if you're, well, for me, I'll work, and I'll work, and then the kids will be busy and I'll be, sitting around, and I'm like, hey, I could get some work done right now, which is true and sometimes needed, but also not always. There are some times where I'm like, I should just do something else. I should just, I would say read a book. I'd love to sit down and read a book, but I cannot, apparently. But I have to be doing something, but I can, like physically, but I can do things that I do enjoy, like yard work. I actually enjoy that. I like it. Or because I like to fix up things, I am a Cancer. I'm home, so I like to make my home like warm and cozy and approachable and make you feel good. Or, I do something else, but I kind of steer away from that. But I understand that there's going to be times when you just don't have that time. There's just saying, just keep trying for it. Don't give up on that, because it is so important, especially right now if you're in this manifestation energy. Okay. Looky there. Looky there. It's the sea kitty. She's back. Or he, or, whoever. And it's not in reverse now, it's upright. Same spot. Isn't that crazy? So, this is the energy that you're needing to get into. Why is the 7 of Cups here? It's the 3 of Sea. That's the 3 of Cups. That's 10 cups that you have here, which is, the 10 of Cups is your wish fulfillment. So the 3 of Swords, the 3 of Cups, not the 3 of Swords. There may be something here around you that you're looking at as, the 3 of Swords, like what the pain is that's going to come out of this, or the sadness out of it, or how still heartbroken you are about something, or whatever that is, or what could happen. And get into the 3 of Cups, which is a more playful energy. It's about celebration and coming together and enjoying the people around you. That's, some of you, there's something to do with enjoying the people around you. Maybe you're in a place to where you're on limited time, and so you're needing to get into this playful energy so you can really enjoy those people around you at this time. That's where you can find that space of manifestation in a positive way, Why is this star here in reverse? Oh, I'll pull 2 cards. Well, that makes sense. The 9 of Cups in reverse, which is when you're unhappy. And then you have the Hanged Man here, which is Pisces energy. So, what is this telling us? Well, this is about being hopeless and feeling like you can't achieve your goal or your dream. It's also about, healing as well. There for some of you, here we go. For some of you, there may be some kind of a wound that's here of why you feel the way that you feel to a certain place. It has to do with your own happiness. So there may have been something where you felt like you needed to protect and push your happiness to the side when you were younger, where you felt like you needed to, something about you, something, some of y'all may not even be aware of this fully. There's something that was instilled into you about protection and your own happiness and how that is supposed to be. Why is the King of Cups here in reverse? I have a storyline that's going on in my head, if you can't tell, of something that happened to me in my life, and I'm not sure if I want to share it or not. I'm trying to figure out why it's coming into mind. Well, it's okay. I can just share it then. So, I've always been married to people, or been with people at a distance. They've always worked, had to work. Never really got a lot of time together. And I started thinking, like, well, do we really need all this stuff? Why are you working so hard? Do we really need everything? When it's all said and done, time is such a valuable thing. And happiness and relationships, those are the things that will last in eternity. And I don't know, it's just there's a balance that's there. That's what this whole reading is about. It's about balancing your need and your want and not being so fixated or focused on one or the other, and how it affects you and how it affects your future and the people around you. Why is the King of Cups here in the reverse? The Emperor in reverse. Yeah, the Emperor is the Emperor. He's all the kings in one. The one that you are missing here is the King of Cups. Some of y'all, this could be an actual person. But for most of y'all, I feel like this is your energy. This is the King of Cups is emotionally stable, secure. So y'all are not fixated on your emotions right now at this time, like almost at all. And that is where this childlike energy is. That is where this fun, playful energy is. That's where all that creativity lies. That's what you're missing in order to be able to be the Emperor here that you're wanting, which is a leader energy. And this may also be a desire, So it's like trying to achieve the star without putting the certain thing that you need in it. So it would be like baking cookies and forgetting to put an important ingredient. And they don't come out the same. They don't come out as good. That's what they're trying to say here. It's not going to come out as good. And I was going to say in my story is, now, do I want my husband to be someone that has to work like that just so we can have things that we really don't need? Not everything, we have the essentials. That's good. That's good enough, right? And each other. But do I really, want somebody that, and this isn't really my situation in this scenario, but I've seen it. I've had I have a lot of older men in my family, uncles and such, that have just done work their whole lives. I mean, they were just gone, away from their family. And didn't get to see them hardly at all. And some of them, it created, like, it made them somewhat grouchy. I mean, some of them, it did make them emotionally unstable or unable to handle their emotions. That's like with affection with your children, or being open with them and loving and nurturing with them. And because you're so focused on, this way, that you're not everybody's that are close to you and love and care about you are getting the benefit of loving you because because you're just so fixated on that. And in meantime, those individuals, they're upset because they weren't there for all the certain moments they wish they were. And they get into a place where they can start blaming all kinds of things on that. Resentment starts to create this static, that keeps them from being happy just in the moment that they're in, or where they are now. There's just some grouchiness that goes into that, and it's like, well, when you are here, you're just grouchy. Nobody even wants to be around you anymore. So be careful of that. That's something that's there. Some of y'all, this could be a spouse or someone you're with. But why is the Page of Cups here? There's that High Priestess that I thought was there earlier. Do y'all remember that? I kept saying High Priestess, the High Priestess. I feel the High Priestess here. And that the Hierophant came out instead. Or Hierophant was out, and I kept thinking it was the High Priestess. And here she sits. Look at that. In that same spot with the same card. Upright. In the right position. There she sits. The High Priestess in reverse is when you're not listening to that voice in your head. You're not listening to it. Why aren't you listening to it? Because you feel like, I think there's something, a part of you that feels is, if you listen to that, it will distract you from what it is that you need to stay focused on. What is that? The 9, there's that 9 of fire again. This is what you're holding. This is what where your weight's coming from. You're not listening to your intuition here. You're not listening to that voice or that nudge. You're not paying attention. So you're like in this tunnel vision, and you're not like I was before. And I was talked about there's some conversations going on around you that are important, that you need to really pay attention to and look at. And not everything's a distraction. Some things are meant to help you in where you are in your situation. Spirit's sending you those people with advice, and you're like, I'm not listening to them. Or, I'm not. What does my Nana know? She thinks she knows what she's talking about. She doesn't, or whatever the case. But there's something that's there. Also listening to yourself as far as like the weight that you're taking on and this responsibility that you're taking on. And that right there could be a lot of wasting your time. Unnecessary thoughts. Okay. Yep. eight of swords here in that 4 of C, 4 cups in the reverse. This is self-awareness. When you're not looking at or reevaluating, and looking and reevaluating and looking and reevaluating, and you're not so focused also on how things haven't worked out, and you're aware that you need to stop letting how things have worked out affect your drive and your passion and your urgency that's here. It's just like not wanting something to happen again, or 5 of Pentacles, not wanting to be left out in the cold and getting in your head about that. You see, you're putting yourself in a place to where you're saying, I have to hurry, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this. I can tell you, if I said that to myself, I would most definitely forget half of what I was doing, and the other half wouldn't have been done right, so it would have just been a waste of time. That's what they're saying in this reading. This is like that would be the main point of this reading. Okay, so let's get some advice. hold on. What is this inner child thing here? We're going to do something different than the initials at the end of the reading. I'm going to pull a few charms from the box. What is the inner child healing here for pile 1? Guys, did y'all see that? Are y'all seeing what I'm seeing? Because that's pretty cool. It says the number 23, let it go. And this is letting go of urgency. Let go of all that no longer serves you. There are some, that's a very clear message. We'll see what these say too. That is so awesome, the way that just happened. I'm glad I got that on camera. But there are some things here. This is the number 5, you see. There may have been some, I looked up at a squirrel. I am having a staring contest with a squirrel right now on my fence. Whatever this is distracting you, okay? This is something that's distracting you. And it could have to do with decisions that you've made in your past and what has that turned into now that you need to let go of. It's like that tree that you planted, that never grew, and you keep thinking about, what did I not do right with that tree? It's like you've already thought about it so much and so many times. There isn't anything left for you to think about what you could have done better, It's just, sometimes seeds just don't grow right. That's something that's here. And needing to let go of that and to, again, like your first card here, weather the storm, let it change you. Embrace it. Embrace whatever happened, the unexpected that was there. And let go of it. It doesn't serve you anymore. And it's attached to you feeling the urgency here. It's attached to that, the need for that. You have number 5 again. Be true to who you are. Fear will not stop you from shining. So it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to have fear here going into this. Of course, you're going to have fear. If you didn't have fear, it wouldn't be important, right? Fear drives us, It keeps us prepared and precautious us. That's hard to say. The next one is, number 5. No kidding. It's number 41. You have 555 here. That's Tower moment. That's a heavy realization. You can do hard things. It is not as impossible as it may feel. I love these cards coming out for y'all. So these are inner child wounds. So there may be some things here that you need to let go of that aren't serving you anymore. A part of you that you can now forgive and release and move on from. And be true to who you are now. Not who you were, but who you are now and where you are now and the position that you're in. Own it. Because this is where it's meant to change you in the best ways, but only if you can get your mindset into that place. And I know you're trying, but there's don't leave the fun out of it. That's all they're saying. It's important. And then, 41, you can do the hard things. So some of you may have had a difficult time with this be true to yourself, being true to who you are. We talked about that with the inner child stuff because we talked about protection and putting your happiness to the side, and there might be something there, that you were taught or learned or embedded in some way. It's still there, and it's, kind of like you need to release or let go that who that person was. You are who you are now, and your needs are important, and your happiness is important. You can do the hard things. It is not as impossible as it may feel. Yeah. There's the part of you that has that innocence that we talked about where you feel like a small child making a big decision. There's some innocence that's here that makes you feel like this is, like you can't control this, or you can't take control of this and create that balance. There's a feeling that's there of that being a possibility that you can't overcome these challenges. And maybe for some of you, maybe it's something that maybe you can't overcome it. Maybe you're meant to go back a little bit. It just depends on your situation. So it depends on what you're choosing too. It's not as impossible as it seems, though. It's not as impossible as it feels. You may have had someone too, as far as inner child goes, that told you something wasn't possible. Like you may have had a dream or desire or wish, and somebody made you feel like you were crazy. You know, I mean, I couldn't even imagine what that feels like. If my son came to me and said he's going to be an astronaut, I'm going to say, damn straight you are. You're going to be the best astronaut in the whole world. It's going to be insane. You're so smart. You can do it. I know you. That's going to be so fun, you know, when we get to go see you and NASA. And just, you know, like, why would you say, you might as well let go of that dream. It's just never going to happen. That's something that's there. That's like, it's still there. It's still in you. So that person's thought or whatever it is, quote, just running through your head, you know. What advice do you have for Paul 1? You know what that reminds me of? Despicable Me, you know, when he's out there on his mom's sitting out there and he's building the rocket, you know. And he's like, see if I don't remember. I haven't seen that in a long time. Anyway, oh yeah, he says, Mom, look, I built a rocket. And she's like, you know, and he's like, or a prototype. And he's like, oh, Mom, look, I built a real rocket from the prototype. And she's like, ooh, It's like experiencing something like that when you're young and how that is still affecting you, you know, today, like it did him. What advice do you have for Paul 1? Okay. Look, you aren't going to believe what this says. It says, and it fell on the floor right under the table. So this is what you're missing here. Find your target. Number 78. When you're in alignment with the universe, you will not miss your mark. Get clear on your desires and your intentions. What exactly is it that you want to build from whatever this is? What does that really look like? Full, like, round look of it. Not just in one area or another, but the whole shebang, the whole plan, the whole dream. What does it really look like? Include all of that stuff that you know is important to you and will make you happy. When you're imagining it, when you're thinking about it, that's your target here. This is the number 78. Okay. Look at the bottom. It says building dreams. The number 4. The foundation that you build today is part of a bigger picture. Keep believing and stay positive. Big things are headed your way. So big things are headed your way. So, okay, one more, and we'll get some charms. Where are we at? Oh my gosh, it's already an hour, guys. If y'all have still been here, then I really appreciate you guys a lot. One more. Don't give up on love. Number 9. The 7, 8, 9 is here. And look, prioritize self-care is at the bottom. I'm gonna read this one first. Number 9 is that hermit energy. So it's introspection, something that you're doing some introspection about, a relationship perhaps that you're doing an introspection about. For some of you, this could just be friendship. But it says, don't give up on love. A relationship that you cherish can be healed. Allow me to clear the way for forgiveness so that love can thrive again. This could be just in other areas, relationships in your life. And prioritize self-care. This is the time you need to make for yourself. Number 24. And that is 6, by the way. So we have 6, 7, 8, and 9 that just came out. You do so much for others. It's time for you to experience the love you deserve and let others help you. That is what I was talking about when I was talking about listening to, to some things. You know what certain people is advice is better than others is because those people know you better than anybody else. Always keep that in mind too. They're basing their advice off of how they've seen you in your experience. And if it does matter, those people that love you, those people that do care about you, that have your best interest at heart, because they know you so well. Okay? Let's see. I'm just going to dig my hand in here and pull some out. Let's see what we got. Okay, so we have the owl here, which look, there's a little one here. So someone looking up to you or being a leader here with someone is something that's been important. It's come up a few times. It's not everybody's message, but it could also be like someone that you're wanting to, that you feel like is higher above you in some sort of way, that you may be trying to impress or trying to, you know, we talked about that too, who you're doing it for. This could even be like an authority. For some of you, this is something that you have to do. You don't have a choice. But the owls are ancient wisdom. To me, maybe not ancient wisdom. It's more of a, that would be more like a hummingbird. But an owl is wise, you know, and you can see things from all angles as well. That's something that you need to look at, seeing things from all angles. We landed on 6 here. That's about balance, fairness. 6, balancing the scales. It's healing. It also is, the 6th house is about work. It is Virgo energy. So analyze responsibilities, your work. So this could be having to do with that when it comes to balancing something out. You do have the 3 and the 5. They're also looking at me. 5 is that change. 3 is growth. You have the ladybug. Luck is on your side, I want to say. If you've been seeing a ladybug, this could be a sign. But the ladybug is just showing me that, you know, you do have luck coming towards you, or it's on your side. Keep that in mind. Look, this says peace through service. So there's something here that you're having to do, you're needing to make peace with. That's this whole reading, I feel like, was like, that would be the title of this reading, right? That's where the key sits. Okay, guys. I am going to leave y'all here. This is an extremely long reading, so I'm going to go take a break. And thank you so much for being here. Thanks for all your love, all y'all's support, all y'all's kindness, of course. I hope this helps. Good luck, and I hope to see you soon. Hey, Paul 2. So if you chose the seahorse here, this is going to be a reading. Okay, so with the seahorse, the seahorse represents, well, a seahorse can actually represent a lot of different things. But one of the things a seahorse does represent is perseverance. Also, staying grounded, to make sure that you stay grounded with perseverance, perhaps. It's also a patience, because having patience, there's something else that's here around a seahorse for some of you. I'm trying to pick it up, but I can't. It keeps kind of going away from me. Some of y'all, there's this like particular seahorse, a story around a seahorse, perhaps. Or maybe you have, there's something that you have that has a seahorse on it, or something to do with seahorses. And that's why you picked this reading, I guess. That's obviously not everybody. It's somebody's story, though. We're going to come back to this, okay? I know there's more there, but now I'm fixated for some reason on that. So, okay, so if you missed the intro, we're looking into what you need to know. And this first card, which is the Ancient Stones Oracles, we're going to use this to see what it is that you actually need to know first. And then we're also going to we're going to do another spread for this card, which these are the Energy and Spirit Oracles for what you're not seeing, okay? So it's kind of a two-parter. Okay, so let's start with the first part here. Y'all have the Sanctuary, harmony and balance, joy and contentment, which is like a seahorse. I always think too about perseverance is really big here, but I always think too about a seahorse and the name of a seahorse, which you have sea, which is in your emotions or going with the flow of things. And then you have this horse, which can represent like quick moving pace or fast energy. And I'm trying to figure out like what they're trying to explain with the duality here. And sanctuary. Finding middle ground may be a part of your reading. Trying to find that middle ground. Some of you, this has to do with needing to ground yourself. This could have to do something to do with your being content with something. This may pertain to your home, your stability, your safety, or your security, okay? And this is about what you need to know about whatever this is that I'm referring to. And it surrounds your happiness and your harmony in your life. Okay, so there's that. Blocking some things out is something that's here as well. Protecting your sanctuary, protecting yourself, what's important to you, what's right for you, and really it's just mostly your peace, protecting your peace. Sometimes we have to protect our peace from our own selves and our minds. They can kind of get the better of us and take that away. And it's not anybody else's fault but our own. Being aware of things that are, messing with you mentally is important here. Something that either you're doing, you're exposing yourself to, or you're filling your mind with that could be putting you in a place of difficulty. It's making it hard for you to find the peace that you're looking for. You have to learn how to protect yourself from yourself and say, I don't need to do that anymore. I need to quit that, or and I know this isn't good for me, or whatever it is, because nobody else knows you like you do. You have to be able to understand what makes you peace, makes you feel at peace before you know how to create that. And I think this is, okay, we'll leave that out. I think this is something that you're looking for. This is the Mythos Tarot that I'm using. It's the Empress. I knew it. I felt Empress energy. I did. We had the Emperor in pile 1, so I knew the Empress was going to be out. Libra and Taurus energies here. So yeah, this is about you. And the Empress is she's all the queens, right? She's mastered all these understandings and lessons and experiences. She's mastered all these skills of knowing how to be a particular way to grow what it is that she needs. And I think for you guys, it has to do with your sense of security in your own world, in your own sanctuary. And, we have to have that safe place to go. And I think that you're trying to figure out something to do with where is that safe place, and do you have that safe place to go, and protecting that and finding balance with it. You are focused on yourself here, and you're focused on what's the most important thing. You're in a place to where you're growing something, or it's a growing thought, or you're actually physically growing something. I think for a lot of you, this may be even physical, like with the home. You need to focus more on the peace that you're creating in your home, or how you're, what does your home look like, or what does it feel like, the energy that you have there. Pay attention to that. maybe that's something that you're focused on. But for a lot of, I think this reading overall is talking about what brings you that peaceful feeling. What is that? What does that look like? You have the Hierophant here, more Taurus energy. So Taurus could be really relevant here. Doesn't mean that you have to have Taurus anywhere. It's just this idea of, okay, what are my morals? What are my values here? What's important to me? What seed am I planting, and why? The Five of Wands is there's conflict around this. It's outside conflict, outside interference. Maybe everybody's got an opinion about what it is that you do or are doing or could do or what you're committing to. And then the Ten of Wands is in reverse. This might have to do with letting something go. This could be, maybe you're looking at letting something go. This can be mentally you need to let something go, or trying to. You know, the Five of Wands is outside stuff. So needing to let the outside stuff, the interference, go mentally is something that's here in order to grow that seed properly. That Ten of Wands in reverse is like a weight off of your shoulders, a big change that's going to take place. You're looking at a conflict and you're saying, is this conflict worth my peace? No, I don't think it is. Nothing is worth your peace. So how do I change it? And what does that look like? And what's important to me to provide that sense of peace and security and safety? Because I need that. I have to have that. And I think for you guys, you need it now. You need it now. Some of you are just protecting this. That Ten of Wands is, I need to let this go. This is also understanding you have no control in something. And there's an incredible need for change to happen. And at this point, you can only change the things that you can control. And you're trying to figure out what are those things that I can control, that I can change, that will help me find that sanctuary that I'm looking for. Why is this Empress here? Nine of Wands in the reverse. This is letting go. This is, you are physically, mentally having this understanding of, I need to let some things go, which is so strange. Pile 1's reading actually ended in this way, of letting things go, but it was in a whole different type of mindset or reading and everything. So if you have a divine masculine around you, the two of you are not in the same energy at this time. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. Your mindset are not in the same place at this time. Doesn't mean they won't be eventually. But you're in one place in your head and that other person's in somewhere else in their head. You're working separately, if that makes sense. You're working through something separately in your head. At this time. Anyway, back to the reading. That Nine of Wands in reverse is telling me I don't want to get to that Ten of Wands. I know that I'm taking on more than I need to. I know what I'm doing, and I need to nurture myself, and I need to release some stuff, and I need to surrender and let some stuff go, because it's becoming too difficult. Something is becoming too difficult for me. So as an Empress, which means that you are in your nurturing feminine energies where you're taking care of yourself, you're looking at a situation and you're identifying what part of that situation is making you feel not at peace and what would bring you that sense of security. Okay. The Hierophant. There's the Five of Swords in the reverse. This is partially of what you need to, like, there's a huge lesson here that you may have learned when it comes to betrayal, when it comes to avoiding conflict perhaps, or overlooking some things, or letting outside things affect you in a particular way. It's like you're walking away from, or you need to walk away from the lesson that you learned and not allow it to make your decision moving forward. There's some sort of, and there may be some outside energy that's making this even more of a struggle for you. Like, I'm having even more of a difficult time here, because I feel like with the energies, I feel like I'm doing a divine masculine and feminine reading, and I've just got this thought in my head that in pile 3 it might be about a connection, and it could be about these. All 3 of these readings may go together. If some of y'all felt that way, I'm telling you right now, divine masculine pile 1, divine feminine pile 2, and the pile 3 is going to be about the connection. I swear to you, that's what I'm feeling. Anyway, I may actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this reading might be titled different from what I thought it was. I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave that up to y'all. Anyway, do you see that struggle I just had internally with where I was trying to figure out what you guys would want me to do with that, like what I should do with that? There's this 5 of Swords has been something that has like changed your way of thinking or tainted the way that you see things. And there's a lesson behind this, that you've learned this lesson. You've gathered the tools from this lesson that will help you moving forward. But now you need to figure out how to, now that I've learned these, how do I implement them, and then let go of it. Let go of that. Let go of the betrayal. Let go of, what you can't control. Letting go of that and moving forward. Because if you stay in this 5 of Swords for too long, it can create an inability for anything to grow moving forward. You have this understanding. You just need to, and I think most of you're already self-aware. You just need to go into this fixing mode. And that 5 of Wands is part of it. This is you going to battle, by the way. This is you knowing, like, you're battling your thoughts, or you're battling outside interference. You're battling something. But the 5 of Wands is different from the 5 of Swords. The 5 of Wands, they're training. There's no blood drawn there. It's training. So when you train, you know what's coming. Here, 5 of Swords, you don't. You're leaving behind something that you didn't know was coming, or something that didn't work out in the way that you thought. May have been a betrayal there or something like that. And you're needing to step into this place of the 5 of Wands, where now you're geared up and ready for it. Now you're prepared. Now you're taking what you've learned and implementing it moving forward. And that's not a difficult thing to do, that 5 of Wands. You don't know who you're going to come up against or what you're going to come up against. But you also need to learn how to stand guard and protect your sanctuary, protect your peace. And sometimes protecting your peace means letting go of the things that you can't control. You cannot control everyone and everything in order to keep your peace, your home, your box, or whatever safe. There's going to be things that are unpredictable. And you have to remember, like, I'm ready for this, or I have the tools here for this, or I'm ready to defend myself here, or take this on, without letting it hurt me or get to me. It's the Sun in reverse, Leo energy. There are going to be disappointments that you come to. Undoubtedly. That's what life is. Life, I feel like, is mostly, at least my life, I have a hard life. If y'all know life path numbers, mine's 9, and it's difficult. Very rewarding, but it's still like 9 life path numbers go through a lot of hardships. I think it's because it's before a master number. But anyways, no, I don't want to get into that. This is the number 19 as well, which is weird. And you do have 9 and 10 here as well. And these 2 5s are about changes. Leaving something behind and stepping into this change. But see how he's looking? It looks like he's looking back, like down here. So again, that sun in reverse is showing you that there's going to be disappointments. There's going to be disappointments that remind you of disappointments that you've had in the past. And there's going to be fear around the outcome of those disappointments because you've already experienced those things. But hoping for a better outcome, or just knowing that now, whatever the outcome, you know how to protect yourself in that. You know what's right, and change the way you're doing things is something that's here as well. Why is the Ten of Wands in the reverse? It's the Page of Swords in the reverse. This is really significant about letting go of broken promises and caviar dreams. It just popped in my head for some reason. So maybe you had like some kind of a dream or desire, or like, I don't know, I feel like this is linked to a betrayal in some way. Like maybe someone fed you a truth or false reality, or something like that. Just something not working out in the way that you thought. And this is more about yourself than it has to do with anyone else. Because, you know, when we get fooled by somebody, there becomes a point after we heal that gets to that place to where you are mad at yourself, like for even allowing any of that to take place. This is something that I've recently been experiencing or thinking about. And how you're going to allow that experience to affect your future. We can heal from a situation way before we're ever over it. I think that when you're over it, when you finally accept it and surrender, you know, man, I wish I would have made a different decision. Why didn't I do it this way? Why did I not see what was happening at the time? How could I have not seen that? I'm so smart. You know, like I've been through this before and I still let it happen again, you know, or I've come so far, you know, like in your journey, and you heal and you learn and you get through these things, and you may repeat some things, and you have to not be mad at yourself for that. You have to get into a place to where I'm not upset with myself for repeating this pattern, because even though it happened and I still believed in it, or I still wanted it, or I wanted this, or whatever, it's not a place in naivety as much as it is a place of just a desire to want something, you know? I mean, it's almost like, I feel like you just kind of need to give yourself a little bit of a break. I feel like this is the weight that needs to be lifted. There's something here for some of you. You like told yourself. You told yourself, I'm going to protect my peace. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like I said. And something still happened to you. There was still that Five of Swords. There's still that sword in your back. Still happened, you know, and you feel like you allowed it to happen to you. But you have to like give yourself a break. And some mistakes we make multiple times before we really reach the ultimate way of growing from it. And if it's an embedded pattern that you have, I mean, that's hard. You know, it's hard. It's like quitting something that's bad for you. It's hard to quit cold turkey. You're gonna things are gonna come back up that put you back into that mindset. But this is training. You're training yourself here. You're training yourself not to look at those disappointments or fixate on those disappointments and things not working out, or the unhappiness of what that will cause or could cause in the future. It's putting yourself in a place to where you use those tools and say, okay, I feel like I've been here before. This feels different somewhat than that did, though. Or this feels exactly like that did. Okay, so I'm going to be more alert in this situation. Also, your mindset just getting out of control, or you doing something that is not good for you, or whatever the case, to where it puts you in a negative mindset, a negative place, a sad place, a disappointed place, a depressive state. In your inside of yourself, and have the awareness to say, I have to stop doing this to myself. I have to remind myself that I have no control over this. And I can't think about this anymore. I just keep circling around the block. And I need to let this go and just use what I now know moving forward. I need to do this for myself. I need to get myself out of that, right? That's what an Empress does with the Hierophant. She knows what she needs to do in order to get things in alignment for herself so that she can grow or grow something that aligns with her morals and her values. Not letting everything else kind of mess with that or get in the way. And it's not easy at all. But releasing this is a good start, because you have to stop blaming yourself. There's this energy of blaming yourself. Yeah, the Three of Swords in reverse. It's like you're blaming yourself for your own heartbreak. I don't think that y'all even pay that much of attention to this, because you're so emotional. If you have been like finding yourself upset in weird, awkward moments where you shouldn't be, but you can't really explain why. I don't even know why I'm this mad. I don't even know why I'm this sad. I don't even know why, I feel depressed like I do. It's when you get yourself into a place to where you feel like these kind of ways, it could be because there's pain that's here that you're not addressing, that you're not looking at. So it's making everything else overly sensitive, right? There's pain that's here that's attached to you blaming yourself for something that you need to let go of. Blaming yourself for your own pain. And this has to do with making a decision or making choices. Three of Swords. Three of Wands. It has to do with something not going in the direction that you wanted it to go, or you saw it going, or maybe somebody, led you on that something was going to happen, or this could be just a fantasy or dream that you have, or you missed an opportunity, or whatever the case, it's in the past. This is what you need to let go of. For some of you, this is some kind of a undelivered promise or expectation or something that's here. How do they let that go? The Ace of Wands in the reverse. Be careful of looking into the future and seeing nothing but missed opportunities. Because so what I mean by that is, if you're looking at the past and all you see is missed opportunities, it's going to be really hard for you to look into the future and see anything as importance or value, or that it could be important or valued. You're not valuing it in the right way. If you are continuously tainting it with what the past showed you or you experienced, and wanting to do something differently. Because ultimately, you're trying to find your sanctuary, your peace of mind. What else do they need to know? Anything else about this they need to know? The Knight of Pentacles. Take your time here. Work through this slowly. You will make it to the 10 and completion, and you will be able to forgive the situation and forgive yourself, accept this, that you have no control here, and move forward and implement it. But you need to take your time. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to just be this person over tomorrow, wake up and you're just this person. You're going to have lapses, where you kind of go back in your mind and you find that sad energy again or that disappointment again, and allow it to kind of affect your behavior, your actions, your mood. It's going to happen, but just correct it and then keep moving forward. This is like, you can't learn how to control something in your mind. You can't learn how to control like your behavior or whatever the case until you really take a look and say, well, what did I learn from this situation? And what are the things around me that I can control? Let's work on those. And that's hard. You have to go back time and time again to really ace it, You're not going to ace it the first time every time. Some of y'all are just hard on yourself. Take your time here with this. The Six of Wands. Yeah, you will be successful. You will overcome this. That's the thing. There's that. That looks like Angelina Jolie, doesn't it? Queen of Pentacles is here. So again, there's that Empressy energy. The Queen of Pentacles is that sanctuary. You will be successful in finding peace again. But being conscious, being self-aware is one of the most important things here, and redirecting your focus. And it's not easy and it is hard, but you can do it. That's the thing. And you know it. You know you can. Look at that. The Eight of Swords in the reverse. You know you can get out of your head, get out of your own way here. It's weird. I just said that the other day. I need to get out of my own way. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to clear this out, and then we're going to take a look and see, okay, what are you not seeing here? Because I think what you're not seeing is going to really help you to stay grounded like your seahorse, okay? Because your mind is like a horse, and your heart and where you peace is like the sea. You're trying to get in the flow, but you still get carried, keep running away from yourself. Okay. So what are you not seeing about yourself that you need to see? Or what are you not seeing about the situation that you need to see? So we're going to put this over here and move this. And remember, this card may or may not be connected to what we just read. I feel like in pile 1 it was, but that doesn't mean it will for you guys. So let's see. I've never done it like this, so this is new to me. Okay. So pile 2, what is it that you're not seeing here? Archangel Regale, right? Justice, Harmony is here twice, and Solutions. Number 60, sorry, I wanted to say 63 for some reason, but it's 36. Number 36. And he's holding those scales. Justice, Harmony, and Solutions. What are you not seeing? I feel like you're not seeing perhaps maybe the solution to this issue that you're experiencing here. You're not seeing what okay, so what's the solution is to this? What is part of my training here? What do I need to Like there's the Ace of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles. Some of you, maybe this is around a relationship or something that you want to create. What is it your desire is, like as far as what fills you up, you know, your heart. What fills your heart up? Tell me about this. For what is hidden? What are they not seeing for pile 2? Seahorse. What are they not seeing? The 8 of Wands in the reverse. Stop expecting so much out of yourself. You expect too much out of yourself. You really got to give yourself a break. You hold yourself to a certain standard that at times is unreachable, you know, and giving yourself a break is a theme. Tell me some more. What do you not know you need to see? The 3 of Pentacles in the reverse. This is having to do with working something out, working together, working... you need to change who your commitment is towards. You can still have a commitment to someone, but you also need to remember to have that same commitment to yourself. If you hold someone to a certain standard, you need to make sure you're holding yourself to that same standard. That's something that's here. If you expect something out of someone else, then you need to do the same, you know, that kind of feeling. Let's keep going. So you, instead of fixating on what on the outside of you or the other person, you need to fixate on what's inside of you and in yourself, because again, that's where your control is. Otherwise, this is not going to work or come together in the right way. And you don't know where it's going to lead you either. You just have to have this mindset of, if I just continue to focus in on myself and commit to myself here, then everything's going to fall into line where it's supposed to. Whether, you know, whatever that is. Yeah, 4 Cups in reverse. Being aware of this, being aware this is here. Let's get one more. Letting go of what was, or what didn't work out, or what happened. Queen of Wands in the reverse. Rebuild your confidence back in yourself is something that's here. Redirect your focus back to yourself. You know, when we get into a place to where we're like this mentally, like we can't control certain things or whatnot. Sorry guys, I had to pause for just a second because the way my chair is, it's starting to get uncomfortable and I have to move around sometimes. Okay, anyway, Sagittarius energy is here as well. Aries and Leo. You have to, you know, like when we're in a place to where we're fixated on certain things, or we don't feel good about it, or we know that something is hurting us mentally or physically, we start to not have that same confidence in ourselves because we don't have anything to be proud of. So there's something that's here about, like maybe you let go of something, or you stop doing something, or again, it has to do with yourself. Something you're doing for yourself, something that was important to you at some point or made you feel good, where you've let go of that and you're needing to either pick that back up again or find something that brings you that feeling again, because you may be starting to lose the confidence in yourself. Oh. 7 of Swords in the reverse. I know I got quiet and I didn't say anything, huh? That's because I'm trying to figure out, I just went totally blank when the 7 of Swords in reverse came out, which is weird. And I'm trying to figure out why that is. And then I was like, well, you go from the 8 to the 6 to the 7. Can I have one more for that 7 of Swords in the reverse? This is it. The unknown, not knowing something. You didn't know something. This is why you need to forgive yourself for whatever it is. You didn't know any better. You didn't know something. There was things that you couldn't see. This is also what's keeping you stuck in the future, like moving forward, is the fear of that. Fear of the unknown. It's strange too, because it's like you could feel it but you couldn't see it. It's like knowing something but not having the facts. Tell me some more with the Seven of Swords. What is this in reverse? The devil. Knowing the devil. Knowing when it was the devil. Well, I mean, a wolf's in sheep's clothing. You know, there's like the devil energy all around that just, they put off a certain, they know how to deceive, you know? So stop blaming yourself for this. It's like I have to be really aware, and I have to like really pay attention and be really aware and really focused. I can't overdo it. I can't overgive of myself. I have to have these boundaries up here, because I have to, like, it's not being able to enjoy anything. You know, it's so serious. There's such a serious vibe from that. The pressure in not hurting yourself again, or not allowing yourself to get hurt again in some way, is so significant here. Look at this is funny to me, the devil. And look how scary he looks and everything, and he's holding a puppy. Do you see what I'm saying? The devil is deceiving, you know? It's like, even if I saw that, I'd be like, oh, look at the puppy. You know, and it's like, you do see that that's the devil, right? You're not going over there, are you? Okay, so not seeing the toxicity and feeling like I should have seen it. I should have seen it coming. I should have seen that. You know, being like awoken up to someone or something or a situation, and seeing it in a completely opposite way is shocking. It takes a while for that to kind of sink in. And yeah, don't put pressure on yourself for that at all. That's the devil. He deceives everybody. Okay. Why is the Three of Pentacles in the reverse? The King of Pentacles in the reverse. Some of you, this is a person. You have the King of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles. So you may have had, you may still be with this person. This could be a spouse that you are in a commitment with, but it's not working. Something's not working here, or it didn't work. So take it how it resonates. I don't know exactly your situation, and I want to leave that kind of open, because everybody's is a little different. This could have even been just a fantasy that you had around someone, you know, that you saw potential in, and it not working out. You know, it's just an idea that you created in your head of, like, let's just say it could be something simple, like, oh, I was going to go out on this date, and I had all these hopes for it and built myself up of what it was going to be and possibilities for what it could happen and everything else, and I was let down, you know, and I have to kind of let that go. Or it could be as strong as you're married to someone and things are not working out. They're not headed in a good direction. Or this could be a past energy if that didn't work out or didn't go well. You know, it's just whatever pain you experienced and how that's being felt here, you know. Why are you showing me that with the King of Pentacles? That's also Capricorn energy, like the devil. That is the Tower. Now that explains it. There's that sudden realization. For some of you, this is someone that you're not seeing in the same way. This doesn't have to be someone you're with. This could be maybe someone that you're having a hard time seeing a situation for what it is because of this past energy, how it's affecting you. Anyway, let's keep going. I want to get fixed. I don't want to get too stuck in that. I feel like that's what happens to you. You get too stuck in this tower moment here, this aha moment, this epiphany, this chaos, this confusion, the tower falling down, and how that didn't work out, and how destructive that is and was attached to this devil here. You know, you go from 15 to 16 here. So this is something that happened where, you know, deceptive energy was exposed. The Six of Wands, as I say, exposed. That's like the Six of Wands is, you know, it's a parade in the regular tarot. It's a parade. And he's on his white horse, you know, and it's like there was a big letdown here of how something was going to go or supposed to go. And you may have even been oblivious to that for a while. And now you've woken up to this and you see it and you're like, how could thou let that happen? Parts of this reading sound very familiar. Why is the Four of Cups in the reverse? Yeah, the Eight of Swords in reverse. Get out of your head. This is all energy of being in your head and reevaluating your emotions and what you felt and how you felt. And you have certain feelings that you feel that are attached to your past. So immediately when you feel these feelings, you immediately feel the opposite. You're still transitioning, I feel. And you're right smack dab in the middle of it, which is the hardest part, you know. But you're going to overcome it. There is this, I had a thought in my head and now I just lost it. I don't know why I lost it. Why did I lose it? Because of the mountain I was visioning in my head. A mountain, you know, like being that challenge. You know, when you get to the very top of the up end on it and you're fixing to reach the top, it's the most difficult part. It's when you stop believing in yourself too. So don't do that. You're almost there, okay? Why is the Queen of Wands in the reverse? Look at that. Nine of Swords. This is the feeling I've been feeling. Seven Swords, Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords. You're almost to this release. It's just, it's going to take some time. You learn something every time, you know. Queen of Wands in the reverse with that Nine of Swords. This is what's keeping you from feeling confident in yourself moving forward. This right here, getting in your head. This is anxiety at its best. Unfortunately, it's anxiety. It's sorry, the song Anxiety is just playing in my head like crazy. But it is just you being obsessively in your head, and it's that what that does is it messes with your harmony. It messes with your confidence. It keeps you from being creative and expressive and open and free and confident and you know, loyal and all the things that make you who you are and the best parts of you that stand out, that you yourself feel good about yourself, make you feel good about yourself. This anxiety, when it comes on, it takes all those things away from you. You have to find a way to build that back, your confidence, you know, and taking care of yourself, taking care of your needs, including some of your wants, you know, giving yourself time and space to be free or be in a place where you're not thinking about all this, something that will boost your confidence up, you know. whatever the case, even if it's something simple like I'm just going to go have fun with my son all day, or I'm going to go get a pedicure, or I'm going to go plant some flowers, or I'm going to clean my room, whatever it is that makes you feel good, gives you those endorphins that you need. You're lacking that, and because of lacking that, that's what you need to build. That's what the solution is you need to build this back up with yourself, because you keep telling yourself you're to blame. And in a way we all have choices, but you need to give yourself a break for it, because we also all make mistakes, and it's impossible not to. There are things that we don't know, and you have a devil here holding a puppy. So I bet this is a situation that was very much so disguised to look and feel and everything in the way that you felt like was be right for you, was meant for you in some way. Okay, so bottom of the deck, that's what it is. The 7 of Wands in the reverse, and the 2 of Wands in reverse, the 5 of Cups in reverse, and the 8 of Cups, this and the 3 of Cups. You have a supportive energy around you. I don't know who this is. There is some support here around you that's here when you aren't feeling strong enough. If you let it, if you allow it, if you let it in, yeah. You may not be getting your needs. I mean, maybe not needs. There may be someone in particular that you're wanting to have this support from. You feel like you need this support from them. But I don't feel like that this person's in a place to offer you that, because I don't think that they're strong enough to give you what you're needing at this time. That doesn't mean that they won't in the future, or they can't in the future. For some of you, this could be somebody you're even with. So there's just, this is helping you to come up with the solution on your own. It's keeping you from being codependent and building your confidence on your own. And you are the only one that can make that as strongest as possible. If we relied on our confidence from other people, then when those other people are gone, or they're not around, or they're in their own stuff, and they can't fill your cup up because theirs is empty, that kind of thing, we have to know how to cope with that on our own. It builds our internal independence, so that we are not so codependent on someone else to meet those needs and those requirements to make us feel a certain way, like confident in ourselves. Sometimes that comes through people around you that love, that care about you, that are supportive. Even if someone's around you that's trying to be that way, and you're not seeing it, or you're not allowing it because you are closed off. Yeah, that's something that's there. That 2 of Wands, this right here, this 5 of Cups is about, in reverse, is about getting yourself out of this place. Getting yourself out of this place where you're thinking about the mistakes that you made, or the regrets that you had, or you should have done things differently, or being in that place. This is about having a positive shifting your mindset into a better place, to where you're seeing this as, yes, a mistake, yes, a bad decision or choice, but you don't need to still defend it in any way. It kind of was what it was, and happened the way that it happened, and you have to be able to take that of what you now know, and it's just implement it in the future. You don't need to, this may be making you overly defensive as well. Any kind of bad choice that you made in the past, it may be making you feel overly defensive in different areas of your life. Yep. Okay, so let's see. Sorry, I know I went so quiet, didn't I? I'm so sorry. Just straight in my head there for a minute. Okay, so let's see what advice they want to give you about all this. Divine gifts. Number 16. 16 is the tower, which we see here. Seeing something as a gift. I know not everybody likes to hear that. But that's here. It says, there are talents and spiritual gifts that you have been given but not using. Put yourself to good use. See, you have these tools already. You already know all this stuff. You're just not implementing them. And it's like, this, what did this tower do for you? It made you more capable of handling future challenges, future issues. That's what it did. That's what this did. That's the gift that you've been given from this. Understanding that is going to help you. Sit this out. Number 76. Something is not quite right. Wait a little longer before taking action. Timing is off, or it could be the wrong decision. So wherever you are and whatever you're doing and wherever you're at, you may be kind of thinking about something in an anxious way, and it may be wasted energy. You're putting thoughts into something that is not at all a possibility. So you're needing to pull back your energy when it comes to whatever that is. And I feel like y'all would know what this is, but let me just pull a card for whatever that is real quick. What does this sit this out for? What does sit this out for? Yeah, the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. This is again a card of sitting something out, needing to sit out, or take a break. Give yourself a break is something else that's here. For some of you, this may have to do with work or something that you're putting effort into that you don't need to put effort into. What is this about, though? Just kind of repeated the message. The Eight of Pentacles in reverse. The Queen of Pentacles. Sit this one out. The Hanged Man in reverse. Some of y'all, this might be a message about something to do with work or career or working on something or giving something a lot of energy or time. Maybe you just need to take a step back. There may be something that's going on that's out of your control that you can't see, that's going to take care of itself. And I think that you're putting too much focus on it, and it's just a waste of energy. They're telling you to pull your energy back when it comes to that. The Hanged Man in reverse, Pisces, Taurus. You have the Lovers right under this. And that Three of Wands with that Two of Cups in reverse. This has to do with looking at something in a different perspective. I think this is somebody else that's looking at a choice or looking at something, needing to see something in a different perspective. And they may not get that if you aren't focused on yourself. This is someone that needs to see you in a different point of view or perspective, perhaps, and they can't see that or they can't acknowledge that if the behavior here doesn't change, or if the actions don't change, or if you don't sit this one out, like take a step back in some way. It's like in order to create change, do nothing. That's what that feels like. Just focus on yourself. I mean, to me, that's okay. Dance with Fire is at the bottom. Number 75. It says, do more of what makes you happy and feel the power that comes from focusing on what excites you and lights your soul on fire. There you go. There's a confirmation. Oh, before I get this one, I'm going to grab one of these first. This is the Inner Child Oracles. Let's see if they have an Inner Child card for you. For Paul 2, their Inner Child. You'll have one card. 43, it's number 7, which is about being in alignment. What is alignment with you? 4 would be your home, your stability, sanctuary, like we saw earlier. 3 is the Empress. It's about growth and expansion. You do not have to go it alone. Reach out for support at this time. Didn't I tell you? You had that 3 of Cups there earlier. Like you have that supportive energy around you. You have things around you, people around you that you're not seeing or acknowledging fully. It's there. It is there. Reach out for support. This is a headquarters here, right? With the boat there. It's almost like pay attention if there's someone around you that you feel like is helping you to transition through this. We will always, as humans, need help in some capacity. We can do things on our own, but sometimes there's things that we need support and help with, especially if it has to do with your mental capacity, your thoughts, and them getting carried away with themselves. It's okay to rely on, you don't have to do that alone. There's support in other areas, even if that has to do with, seeing a therapist or seeing a doctor, or it depends on what level you're at and what you know that you need to do for yourself in order to get yourself into the best position for your highest good. And sometimes, we need to focus on, doing meditation for clearing your thoughts, clearing your mind, giving yourself that space that you need to create a possibility that you can overcome these challenges. That goes along with sit this one out too, Sometimes when we want the behavior of the situation to change, we have to change our behavior, not try to get everyone else to change theirs. So keep that in mind. It's advice for pile 2. We have number 35. Trust the guidance that you're receiving. Archangel Uriel has blessed you with a brilliant epiphany. I'm also present to clear away your worry so that you can trust the divine guidance. There you go. There it is. I kind of fit it with the whole thing, huh? Look, the bottom says someone new is coming, number 28. An important new relationship is on the horizon. Open your mind and heart so that happiness can enter your life. I really think that this has to do with just where you are or who you're with, or because this is a reading about letting go of the past and going into the future and the best mindset possible with doing that. So I really think for some of you, this has to do with, opening up your mind and allowing your heart to also open so that happiness, you can experience the happiness that you're in and let go whatever. But some of you, you may have someone new. You may just have a new experience with someone that's coming in. I don't feel like that this is something, it's either something you're in now or something you'll experience in the near future. I don't feel like this is something that is from your past in any way. Okay. That was a mouthful. So I'm going to use the charms today instead of using the initials and phrases from the other. So y'all have, okay. First off, it's kind of funny. You have the steer head here, which is divine masculine energy, or antler, I'm sorry. And there's this one, steering yourself in the right direction, taking control of the wheel is something that's here. This is a lesson about that, you taking control of the wheel, taking control of those thoughts, not letting them control you. You have the butterfly. So you have had this transformation. You have changed. you know, who you are in yourself from the experience. You just now need to allow that change to happen, to take place. You just got to fly now. You know, you finally got those wings. It's time to allow yourself to go. So you have this yarn here of, well, just this yarn here. Okay, I'm going to go back to this real quick. Something here, there's still this attachment to. You may not still be attached to this person, but it has to do with commitment, being trustworthy, trust. That is this yarn. See the yarn that's here? See how she's holding it and she's about to cut it? You're needing to break yourself free from this idea of what trust looks like to you, or commitment looks like to you, or whatever it is that's like tainting your mind around this. This is what you're needing to let go of, because that was an experience. That doesn't mean that it's the way that it is, but it was an experience, and you just need to see it as an experience and not the way that it is. Your attachment, your mental attachment to commitment, this is all like tainting the way you see commitment. So, okay. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave you here. I was gonna do something else, and then I was like, no, I'm done. But thank y'all so much for being here. Thanks for all your love and support and kindness, of course. Definitely hope this helps. Good luck to you guys, and I hope to see you soon. Hey, Paul 3. So if you chose the crystal heart, diamond heart, crystal heart. So this could be pertaining to love, obviously. This could have to do with, this could have to do with loving yourself, or maybe loving yourself first. May have a relationship here. Okay, so we'll take all those things into consideration with your charm, and let's see what we have. So first off, if you missed the intro, the purple card, which you see, is the Spirit and Energy Oracles, and we're going to use this on your second part of this reading to see what you're missing. And then here, this is going to represent what you need to know, okay? So this is the Ancient Stone Oracles, and y'all have Temple, the Wisdom Within. So quietening external noise. So maybe it is having to do with loving yourself or going within, because there's been like a pattern in these readings, I guess, a certain theme in these readings. A lot of them have to do with temple, your internal temple, the wisdom within. So having already all the knowledge that you need is something that's here within inside of you, and cutting out or quietening the outside noises. And this could have to do with a relationship. It could have to do with love. It could have to do with yourself. So let's see with the tarot. And I am using the Ethereal Visions Tarot with y'all. So we're just going to get some of the tarot out, and then we'll go on to what you're not seeing about, and then we'll get some oracles, okay? Not that. I do feel slowed down in your reading. I might be tired, but I feel like a little more relaxed, like maybe this is a message, like I'm needing to slow down in some way. Okay. I keep smelling my panini as well. Oh, that's on my table. Like, when they're big, like they're so strong, they smell like perfume. They smell so. This smells so good. I just got a big whiff of it, and it reminded me to stop and smell the roses. So there's something to do here, perhaps with quietening the external noise, so that you can just smell the presence of where you are, or what's happening. Let's see. I feel like this has to do with love, making a choice, or being in what's in alignment with you. Because when I picked up the deck from the box, I was thinking that already, and then it had the Lovers. I just saw the 8 of Wands, which is about slowing down, and the 10 of Pentacles is here as well. something, it's slowing down what could be built, slowing down the foundation, these external factors or the noise. You need to go within here. Okay. What is this? What does pile 3 need to know? The 6 of Swords. There's a transition that's either happening or needs to happen. This is the Artist. It's a special card in this deck. And it talks about what you're creating. There's definitely a theme in these readings. That did fall on the floor. It's the World, and it fell in reverse. I can't show you all that anyways because of the card. But I don't take reversals, or I do take reversals. I don't take the cards that fall on the floor, or at least I feel like there's a message that's there, right? It's just something that I need to note. That's why it's on the floor. It's just something that I need to note, but it doesn't have to be the focus of the reading. So it has to do, I think, with you guys, the World in reverse, of something like a chapter that you're still trying to figure out, something that is not ready to come to a close yet, or that's wrapping up perhaps. There could be something here to do with you're having closure with something internally, and you're needing to kind of quieten the outside noises that are affecting you from making this change or this transition that you need. And what is it you're creating? You're creating that castle in the sky there in that card. So the Knight of Pentacles is about slowing down. Can you see that? The Knight of Pentacles is about slowing down, being determined to make something happen, to make something work, wanting, making sure that you have everything correct, right, in order, so that it will be solid, is something that's here. These cards keep wanting to fall on the table. I just pulled the Fool. It did a flip in my lap and landed in reverse, but it's kind of like what I was saying before. Needing to slow down is something that's here, or just kind of recenter yourself, Sometimes we can get kind of carried away with ourselves, or we can get like to go in because we see the quality of something. But just because the quality is there doesn't mean that you have to hurry up and get to it so you miss out on the journey itself. It's saying don't miss out on the journey itself. See, that World fell on the floor, but then the Fool came out, which is the end of the Major Arcana and the beginning of it. So some of y'all may already be in this like new beginning. It just feels very questionable or intense, or there's a lot of emotions that I'm feeling too, different types of emotions, complex emotions. And that Fool in reverse is like, I need to be cautious going into this. This is a risk. Either way, something is a risk. But I need to be cautious. But I'm still taking that risk regardless. But this is something that needs to go slow. Why does it need to go slow? Why is the 6 of Swords here? Card in my lap again. It's the 8 of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah, this is a delay. This is just, several different types of things. What I'm really picking up on mostly here is change what it is exactly that you're working on. It's like there's changes that need to take place in order for something to transition in the right way. And there's a break that's needed. Like, take a break here for a minute. What is the 8 of Pentacles in the reverse? Thought it wasn't going to tell me. 3 of Pentacles in the reverse. and the Six of Pentacles in reverse. There's something that's not working here, okay? This is like something being unfair. There's a call to this. So if you're experiencing something where you feel like there's an unfairness or there's this imbalance that's taking place, there needs to be a pause from go, 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 and taking a second to figure out why it's not where it's going. Because if you don't correct it now, it can be the inevitable, you know. It's something that needs to be addressed, so you need to like take a minute and address it, or it's going to snowball into something else. What is it that you're creating? What kind of life are you creating in your head here? Tell me, what's the 6 and the 3? You know, we can base bad decisions that we make in our life. That have been based off of fears and anxieties about what could be. And that's the external noise. Sometimes we have to take ourselves out of that and think about, what are we actually experiencing though? Not what we think, not what we wonder, but what are we actually experiencing? What is actually evident in front of us in order to get yourself back in a balanced place? And I think that's what you're doing here. This could be around a commitment though, with that 3 of Pentacles in the heart. This could be around a relationship. You know, this is about how you work out issues, how you find balance, because there's not an equal give and take in something. It's going to be, the scales won't be able to be upright. And I know sometimes maybe you have more on one side than the other, but what makes them balanced and even is understanding and compromise and patience and awareness and focus. A lot of things. And that's what's here is there's like analysis around working together and working out the balance or fairness that's here. See, in this card, she's looking at this, she has the scale, she's measuring how much she gives to each person and trying to be fair and balanced. But in reverse, this is an imbalance here within a commitment. So this is something that needs to change. This is something that you're going through or you're working out at this time because of that 6 of Swords that's there. Why is the Artist here? Judgment. This is making a decision to either have this like renewed energy, this fresh, clean slate, or to, you know, have that judgment day take place to where you create something completely, totally different here. This is like, if this is a relationship, this would be 2 people like facing their own judgments and then deciding what is that castle in the sky look like here. You know, creating it based of what they judge or what they want for themselves. Being your own advocate is something that's here. Being your own in my head I wanted to say probation officer, being your own probation officer. So it's like keeping yourself accountable. Scorpio energy, holding yourself accountable on what it is that you're creating within the dynamics of a commitment and the imbalance that's there, and needing to change the way that you're proceeding forward with this. Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. I don't know about that. Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Ace of Pentacles. So there's an opportunity here that's on the table to ground something or to have something solid. Like I said before, if you're going so quickly with something, it may be like if you're just wanting to move over something, it may be that it won't be as secure. If you're building a house, if you're building a foundation, and you don't put rods in, or you forget something, or whatever the case, and you see it and you say, oh yeah, there's an imbalance there, that's not going to work, how can we fix that? And you decide to either ignore it or put duct tape on it or a band-aid, and don't actually get to the root of where the issue is, then it's not creating a solid foundation. It's creating that might come back and bite us in the rear kind of foundation. The house may crumble if we don't fix this issue. This is important. So this is something that is important. And holding yourself accountable is something that's really important within the dynamics of this. Because there is an ability to have something grounded here and supportive here. This takes time to grow. It's not something that happens overnight. So there is this feeling of like giving yourself or someone else a break, like of patience and compromise, like I said before, and empathy that goes into play in this new beginning, in this Ace of Pentacles, this opportunity. Why is the Fool in reverse? I pulled 2 cards. I'm going to take them. King of Pentacles and Death. Capricorn here, and Scorpio energy. This is the change. This is the change, this is the transition of knowing that you need to get in that boat and knowing that you need to, make something go a different way, change the way of doing things, and then actually implementing that and starting over, starting something solid, or being more determined. The determination is going to matter when it comes to the changes that are going to take place. There is this ability to trust this situation here. That's the most significant change, I feel like, that's going to take place, where there's a less of a feeling of taking a risk and more of a feeling of feeling like it's more safe or secure. It's like somebody, walking over there going, guys, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think we need to skip that step. We need to really fix this issue before we move forward. That's what this feels like. And then the Fool in reverse would be like, yeah, we're not just taking this huge risk. We're gonna make it count. We're gonna slow down. We're gonna take our time, and we're going to make sure that we make this foundation as solid and secure as it can be, knowing that if we skip some steps, that could come back and bite us in the future, and the tower could crumble. So there's a need to, I think, go slow. I think this is something that it happens. You do go slow. You implement that opportunity to learn this here is right in front of you, and you do, and you implement that, because this is action. So whatever action that you're needing to take, because this isn't working here, is taken here, and it creates this solid structure where you can, the changes that are here happen. It creates the ability to trust the situation, so you don't see it as you taking such a high risk. You feel safer. What's the bottom of the deck? Now the Seven of Wands, needing to protect something. You have to realize that, in your life, you have to realize what it is that you are protecting. Whose peace are you protecting? And this is talking about the temple, the wisdom within. So if this is 2 people, this is about each of you learning to protect your own peace, protect your own sense of sanity, and the control that the other has around that. This could be like a situation where you feel the need to defend yourself, and Queen of Wands is here, and letting your guard down here around that. The Knight of Cups in reverse. The Temperance in reverse. Okay. If there's a relationship here, there is this temptation that is here with the Five of Wands and the Knight of Wands and the Devil in reverse. Getting stuck, and there's that Queen of Pentacles in reverse. See, the two queens are here. When we're in a place like this, it's really easy for us to make sense of defending our mistreatment or misbehavior or being stuck or fixated on something, so much so, like, resentment comes out of unfairness with one person doing something to the other because they're taking a stand for their own fairness. So this could even be like making excuses for bad decisions. So if there's any kind of, that could be a part of this dynamic and the part of this here as well, like making excuses for bad decisions. I'm not saying it's one or the other. It could be both of you, resulting into whatever this imbalance is. But letting go and releasing this toxicity is something that's here. Someone being very defensive and not allowing someone in is something that's here. Like someone creating their own confusion or creating their own chaos. That's the imbalance that's here. Is there anything else that they need to know about this? The Wheel of Fortune is on the table. So you saw it like kind of landed like this, where it almost tried to go in reverse. The Wheel of Fortune is how something's going to turn out, how something's going to go. It's fated, you know. Is something going to go right or is something going to go wrong? And like I said before, if you don't fix that part of the foundation and skim over it, and then it's not going to come together. It's like building a chair and not, one of the screws isn't tight enough, but you can't find what you need, and so you should say, I'll come to it later. But you never do, and you know it's there. And before you know it, that chair's starting to have issues, and then the leg falls apart, and then it breaks the chair or something like that, or hurts somebody, and you're like, God, why did I put that screw? I knew it was going to end up in a more dramatic way than it needs to be. This is like, if we can fix it now, that won't happen. That's that kind of thing here. Anything else we need to know about this? Another sideways card. Two of Cups. This is a relationship. Seven of Wands. This is a relationship here. This is wanting to defend yourself within this relationship, and maybe for some of you also defending this relationship itself. Like this is like wanting to protect a relationship, wanting to fight for. So this is something that you see as worth this battle, but the Nine of Wands in reverse is you're already a wounded warrior. And there, there's only so much that you can withstand, and you don't want to be fighting alone, the Nine of Wands in reverse. This can also represent something that you're not ready to give up on. You're not ready to give up on this. But it's something that's also becoming or became difficult. Tell me more about that Two of Cups. Yeah, look at that. Ten of Wands. This relationship has become difficult, or if it becomes difficult or a burden. But there's also like a need to take responsibilities for that, though. That's what we see here. Not being defensive or blaming one another. The Judgment here is about doing what you need to do for yourself within the dynamics of the relationship. Taking care of your own responsibilities for things. Why is this Seven of Wands here? The Chariot, Cancer energy in reverse. Part of this is about making sure you're not letting yourself down. where you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself as well, even though you want to protect the connection. It's like, you also need to protect yourself. And if you feel like something is getting too difficult or you're not going to win this challenge, then this is, you're going to have to like pick up yourself and get yourself in a better position. But it's still like wanting to fight to get things into alignment, into a positive direction. Still, the fight is still here. It's still worth it, right? 9 of Wands in reverse, 7 of Pentacles in reverse. But this is like someone saying, I don't want to ever get to the 10. If we get to the 10, we've gone horribly wrong. If we're at the 7 and things don't seem to change here, then the 9 is going to happen, which is giving up, because the 7 of Pentacles in reverse is showing me at that point you may not see the value in it. It's the same, or the long-term goal is no longer obtainable. So there's this idea of knowing that you're putting effort into something because you know it's valuable and it's worth the effort, worth the fight, but also knowing your limits here, and when something doesn't start to shift or change, and how to and when you should remove yourself from it. Did y'all see that? Could y'all see that? That card flew across the room. It's the 2 of Pentacles in reverse. This is about your priorities, your responsibilities, and your decisions. In reverse, there's this huge imbalance around this that needs to be realigned. This is like someone dropped the ball here, or this is like is no longer an option for you. If we can't get to where I don't feel the weight of this relationship or this connection, if we can't get to where I don't feel this weight, it's no longer going to have the same sense of value or importance. Because then it just becomes this burden here instead of that Chariot upright, which is something positive. There's a lot of logic here. You don't see a lot of cups here at all. There's no cups here besides the 2 of Cups. So the acknowledgement of the connection is here. But staying out of your emotions is something that's here. So, okay, so let's see at the bottom of the deck. 7 of Cups in reverse. It's funny, I told you may only get to the 7, and if it becomes too difficult, then you won't go any further than that. And you have 7 of Cups in the reverse, the 4 of Swords in the reverse. How do I want to say this? This is like, the 7 of Cups is, I feel like there's an understanding of having other options or having other things around that are here, but I feel like that's not something that you're wanting or you're interested in. And it could be for both of you. Because there's a mask that he's holding up and there's a skull in his hand. So this is like kind of fake it till you make it, I guess, or it's just kind of playing the part here and seeing how this plays out, seeing how it changes with the skull that's here, seeing how things play out, how they change. That's what you're doing here. But the 4 of Swords is in reverse, so you have to be careful about overanalyzing and overthinking, because it can cause some emotional disruptancy or confusion within the relationship or dynamics of the relationship. Because if you have this, like, significant hot and cold energy. It can become emotionally confusing, which can be the end all, you know, because that in itself is anxiety. That in itself is a burden, being emotionally confused about someone or how someone feels. So be careful of that. There needs to be a certain kind of balance that's there where you're not over leaning one way or the other, really, you know, because that King of Swords in reverse and that Hanged Man, you can be stuck or fixated on being like structured or stable, or this to me is like that teacher you hate going to sit in their class because they're just so like routine and it's just, I mean, aggressive, or you know, it's just like how they do their things are just very aggressive, or they have, you know, like OCD and how they do their assignments and stuff and how they have to be. And it's like if you have anything out of place, it's like you get so much marked off, you know. It's like this kind of energy. Be cautious, both of you, I feel, but probably the masculine more than the feminine. This is the King of Swords. Be cautious about this being in this place, because if you're too far in this place, you start to get into overthinking, and it can cause some emotional confusion, not just for the other person, but definitely for you down the line when the other person reacts to that. Do you know what I mean? That could be like two people not talking to each other because they're trying to be, I don't know, analytical, but they still want to reach out to one another, or trying to be, you know, stick by the book of what we agreed upon, you know, or whatever. You know, that kind of takes the fun out of our relationship. You have to leave some room for spontaneity and stuff, you know. So just be careful of that feeling, because you can get stuck on this easily. Look at there. There's the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Got the King of Pentacles down here. Queen of Pentacles in reverse, the feminine energy here. The Ace of Swords is here as well. This is someone that is not in a place to where they feel as if they can open up. They may not be giving fully. This is someone that feels unsafe. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. She feels as if she doesn't have enough, or she doesn't. There's insecurities playing out here in some way, shape, or form. Something to do with feeling like there's an inability to give properly here. It feels like an insecurity, though. Yeah. Needing to get unstuck from that is here. So the King and Queen, okay? Two different complete energies. Someone is in their space of needing to, that's Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, by the way. But it's in their space of needing to focus on and being grounded and being in control of themselves and what they can give and can't give and their limitations. And there's some insecurities around that this is someone that's kind of working through that. But that's what their focus is their stability or structure, security, or safety. And then here in a distorted way. And then here you have the King of Swords in reverse, also in a distorted energy. And that could be like being too straightforward, being too, like I said, that teacher in that classroom, being too picky about things, or just being too, not leaving space for mistakes or anything like that. These two individuals can't have a good relationship together. And this is what needs to be worked out. This is where the imbalance is. And overthinking this and causing emotional confusion. Okay, I'm going to clear this out, and we're going to go into the other part of your spread. I stayed on that for a while. Okay. These are long readings today. Also, I have to mention, because I see it now, They showed me with the Two of Cups for sure. That was what this was. Look at that. Two of Swords is here. There's something here that's not being seen. It's almost like two people still like facing decisions or making decisions or still being indecisive or being on the fence in some way, or just being blocked from being able to see something clearly, seeing the truth of the situation. Yeah, we saw that. They're two different energies. Some of you may have resonated with pile 1 and 2. Or pile 1, I can tell you had the Emperor, which is divine masculine energy. And pile 2 started with the Empress, which is divine feminine energy. So some of y'all, if y'all resonate with that, and I said in pile 2, I feel like this is, I picked the heart here because it could mean the relationship. So all 3 readings may resonate for some of you. Okay. So what is it, this is funny, what is it that you are not seeing that you need to see? Mindfulness, number 1. Peaceful presence, quiet mind. So again, there's this feeling of the wisdom within quietening external noise. You also need to quiet, all the stuff that is going on in your mind at times. At times, we have to make ourselves stop thinking. I got to stop thinking about this. I've got to stop thinking about this. Sometimes that's the case. And this may be new to you, this whole experience. Also, expressing this in some way, shape, or form is right here. When you're not, here's the emotional confusion, when you're in a connection with somebody and you don't know anything about what that person's thinking about the connection because they don't communicate. So you start to create these scenarios and ideas of what could be possible. And some of those are negative, Some of those aren't, but some of those are. And sometimes if we already have wounds, those harder ones are the ones that we're going to be more triggered by, right? So there's something like that's going on there. Needing to be mindful of those thoughts, quiet the mind, There's also someone here that's very self-focused that could be creating that confusion. We'll see if that comes out. Because the number 1, and it's 2 very different feelings because that Queen of Pentacles and that King of Swords. The King of Swords, we all know the King of Swords in tarot represents that narcissist energy where I guess that's where the selfishness is coming from maybe, or not so much. I hate saying selfish, but it's just center focused, focused on oneself for the benefit of their self. I mean, it's selfish. It's the definition, right? It just sounds harsh, but anyway. So there's someone here that's more in that place. That 7 of Swords, and there's that 2 of Swords again. That's 9 Swords. That's where the anxiety here is resonating from. It has to do with deception and honesty. And overcoming that, being in reverse, doing something differently, seeing the other person's point of view or perspective. Yeah, I saw the Hanged Man. Okay. Now we want to know about what they're not seeing. What is pile 3 not seeing about this? Okay, the Hierophant. Taurus energy. Look at them both. They have their eyes closed in the same way. Clouds are down here. Clouds are up here. Hierophant is a very spiritual in nature. It's about lessons and morals and your values and, things that are bigger than us, and things that are out of our control, our belief system. Okay. Being mindful of what it is that you really believe is here. And what's right for you as well. The Devil in reverse. So letting go of fear, overcoming the mind control that's here. The Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Lovers in reverse. This is a lesson you've already learned. You've already learned this lesson. You need to implement the lesson that you've learned. Both of you, I feel like, do. This is two people here. You have Capricorn, Taurus, and Gemini energies here. Needing to see the other person's point of view or perspective is big as far as what's being implemented, what's grounded here, what's the where is the importance at here, what's worth fighting for. This is about what you're creating and what you're planning with that Capricorn energy. And a lesson around this. This is what you're learning. Your thoughts create your reality, and that's this overall message of be careful of what it is that you're creating, what you're telling yourself, what you believe, because it's creating a lot of emotional and mental confusion, I think, for both sides, but just in different ways. The way that the two of you protect your own energy is very different, and one of you needs to find their feet, needs to find groundedness. Your head's in the clouds. And then the other one of you is more trying to be too structured, too going by the book and everything else, are so like center focused here that of logic in a way that you're too far on the ground, you're too far. It's very different. The energies that you're experiencing are in very different ways. One of you too far in your head, the other person's too far on their feet. So that's why I laughed with the clouds up here and the clouds down here. It's a lesson that you're learning, but I mean, you can fail this lesson. This is on the table. The Lovers in reverse. This is the lesson here of what it is that I want to be learning. If you're telling yourself like this is just a lesson, and it's not going to amount to anything here, it doesn't align with me, then it won't align with you. You have to figure out what it is that you want and what's worth it, why. Because if you're constantly telling yourself oh, this isn't going to work out. This isn't going to work out. I can tell. It's not going to work out. This isn't aligned with me. I don't know that this fits in my scenario of my life or is going in the direction that I want. If you if you continue to tell yourself those things, that is your reality. What are you telling yourself, and what do you want? I mean, tell yourself what it is that you want. Why is the Hierophant here? Yeah, the Ten of Wands. Taking responsibility for the weight, the burden. That Ten of Wands, like, there is this understanding of what you've contributed to what's in that basket, that's that weight on your shoulders. And not just running away from it anytime there's this challenge or issue, or not letting it get away with itself, but addressing it, facing it, and fixing it. Or trying to, at least giving yourself the benefit of a doubt, or giving someone the benefit of a doubt is here. The Devil in reverse. That's because a commitment can become a burden. Something that you once loved or you saw as fortunate or valuable can, if that burden's created, it takes the fun out of it. It takes the desire out of it. So if you're not it's not to say you're never going to have any problems or issues or concerns or whatever. It's just to say that whenever that happens, that you can look at it and you can address it and you can make sense of it and you can be fair about it and find peace or balance with it. And logic's a big part of that. Also, being able to feel like you can be yourself or be honest is another part of that. And if you're creating a space where you feel like you can't be honest to be yourself, and it's almost like a mind game, and you're not going to be happy or feel aligned with the relationship. So you have to, again, be careful of what you're telling yourself and what you're creating, because you may be starting, your mindset may be starting to go in a place to where you're telling yourself you're creating more responsibilities than you want or you need, or this is becoming more of a burden or a weight than you want or need. The Hermit in reverse. Did I even say that when it came out? It's Virgo energy. This is what you're needing to release. When the Hermit is in reverse, again, it's making me address this. I can't help it. It just keeps repeating itself. So I don't mean to offend anyone, but I mean, we go through these struggles. So if the first way to fix it is awareness, good or bad, about yourself, right? And it doesn't mean that it's always this way, but there's the Hermit in reverse with the Devil. So there's toxic energy around introspection and how you're doing that introspection within yourself. And this can come across as being very self-focused, to where you're not acknowledging the other person, or you're not you can't both get in a boat and both need to paddle, and then one of you is paddling one direction, the other person's paddling in another direction. You know, if you're trying to get to the same place, you have to paddle in the same way. So this is like equal responsibility, taking equal responsibility for being focused more on yourself or being selfish at times. And even though that should be there, you know, and is allowed, but it's about consideration of the other person. It's always about the consideration of the other person. If you are not considering the other person, whether they're in the room or not, that makes a big difference on a relationship and what kind of foundation you're building. And there has to be trust around that, or it's not even a possibility. So I think that's something that's here, and being on the same page. The Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah, look at this, Nine of Swords. There's a overall emphasis of a fear of wasting your time or putting energy and effort into something that's not going to blossom or grow. Why is the Lovers in reverse? Or that the other person won't put their time and energy into it, you know? You have the Wheel here, which is a special card in this deck. And with the Lovers in reverse, again, what is your desire? Or what is it that aligns with you? Because I feel like this is kind of insinuating a relationship here that can just go in the well. You know, go in the gutter here. If it starts to, or you start to feel like it's not aligning with you, but make sure that you're paying attention to why, and what are the issues behind that before you just throw it in the gutter. I don't know where that word came from or why I'm using it, but there, it's weird. Anyway, being laughed at. Look at that. They're being laughed at. Part of the insecurities that come up here in this dynamic is being laughed at, by being judged outside of yourself, being judged. I think that the two of you both carry this insecurity. That's why judgment came out earlier. And I talked about how taking responsibility for yourself. Sometimes we hide our insecurities and it keeps us from taking responsibility of why those are there to begin with. That fake it till you make it thing's coming up again. You can't do that in the dynamics of a relationship. You have to address it and play the role that you need to. That's not faking it. That's just, if you feel like you're faking it, then that's something that you definitely need to look at, because you shouldn't be. There should be a sense of honesty, openness. You may be someone that's had to be manipulative or chose to be manipulative in situations or in your life to avoid getting hurt. Like, you weren't doing it in a malicious way. You were doing it to just avoid conflict or getting hurt. Both of you could be this way. But that's something that I think that maybe you need to look at. Let's get one of those while we're at it. Look, there's the 5 of Wands. Conflict. Training. Being in training. What am I talking about with this inner child stuff and avoiding conflict here? What am I talking about? This stuff. Number 44, there's the stag. That's divine masculine energy, but there's feminine riding on his back. Which is funny too, because it's down here. It looks like a king at the bottom. Number 44, so that duality is here of feeling safe in order for things to progress moving forward in the right way. You have to feel a sense of security. Trust your intuition on this journey. Listen to your inner guidance. Listen to your inner guidance. This, we just got done talking about, this is the inner child healing that I was trying to bring up. We just got done talking about this idea of allowing other people and their judgments to get to you in some way, causing you to want to wear a mask or be confusing or be manipulative to try to avoid conflict or pain. You don't have to do that here. This is like, just listen to your heart. Just listen to your intuition, your inner guidance, your compass. Figure out what it is that is ultimately what you want here, and then start building that off of that. Instead of trying to avoid, you may have been I'm just going on a limb here, guys, so this may not resonate for everybody, but you may resonate with that if you've grown up in an environment that was chaotic or changed a lot, or there was a lot of chaos that happened, or abrupt things that happened or something like that, where you just kind of say, this could be like saying a white lie just because you don't want to deal with it, and this could be something that's there and that just has gotten like bigger, grew, and it may have attached itself to like your relationships. So you say you're okay when you're not, or work your light is here, number 52. Just being honest about it is important. If you're not honest with how you feel and what you feel, and you're trying to just wear a mask or playing a role in some way, then you're just creating a false reality, What advice do you have for pile 3? Heart's message. Number 47. Expect to receive a message that will make your heart feel full. Let your heart be your guiding key. I just said that, didn't I? Didn't I just say that? I just said, Listen to your heart, listen to your intuition, and your guidance is internal, and then let your head kind of sort out the details. I feel called to get one of these for some reason. What time are we at? Ooh, almost an hour. These are all long readings. That's okay. I was hoping to get this out on Sunday. I don't know that I will. Have some other stuff I have to finish. Can you give me some more advice, please? Divine hand, divine assistance, Midas touch, attracting helpful people. So there's people around you, perhaps, that can help you in this situation, or, ask help for insight and understanding, whether that comes through in a dream or through someone or through a situation that you're in or whatever. On a pedestal. Great admiration idealizes and denying flaws, feeling they're out of your league. These are these insecurities that we were talking about. If you put someone else on a pedestal, and I think the both of you actually are doing this, because I feel like the both of you have equal amount of insecurities that are playing out. Just you're handling them differently. But if you have put someone else on a pedestal, you make sure you're on the same pedestal that they are. You make sure you're equal to that, the way that you're seeing it and seeing them. Because if you put them above you, that's the way that you're going to be treated and the way that you're going to show them that you want to be treated. So you have to make sure that you're on that same. Unhealthy choices. Bad habits. Focus on your health. Careful who and what you let in. So this is something else that may be an interference, because we talked about quietening external noise. So be careful about any kind of bad habits that you're creating for yourself to help cope or deal with this, or people. This is also like being careful of who you're talking to. If you know somebody's around you, you don't know them, you don't know that, they would be sad if you were gone. You don't know this person enough to where you trust and you love this person and you know they love you and have your best interest. Don't tell them everything. Don't tell them all your business, because they can project. If you don't know and you don't know who this person is and if they have good advice or not, you're only seeing what you get with them. You don't know what they're going to be projecting onto you as far as advice. So be careful of that and the choices that you make around that, or make around who and what you allow around you to interfere with what's important to you or what's valuable to you. Okay, bottom of this deck says keep exploring, the number 12. Level up your expectations and don't settle for what you already know. See how you can improve your life. Yeah. Okay, let's get one of these. You already know what you're supposed to be doing here. You already know what you don't know to be doing. You need to make sure that you're living by that self-rule that you've made, What advice do you have for pile 3? The way forward is open, number 32. So change can happen. It's here. 32 is about change. 3 is about expansion and growth. 2 is about making decisions to move on or move forward, work something out. It says you're not trapped. Possibilities and opportunities abound. I will guide you to your personal and spiritual freedom. So the road in front of you is open, but you have to figure out what that looks like and what it is. And you have to release yourself from all the static. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to get some charms from the box today instead of doing the other stuff. I feel called to get one more, though. I'm not really sure what I'm being called to be honest with you. Let's use one of these. It's been a while since I used these. I'm not sure. I can't remember the name of them either, guys. Advice? What do I need to know here before I close? It says number 23, which is again 5. So there's I was just pulled 32, and there's your 23. So you're reflecting back on each other. Speak only of love. So when you communicate, in your communication, make sure that you're communicating through love and not that devilish energy, because that can start something off into a whole different place. So just make sure that you're communicating with love. And even if this is something that doesn't go in the direction that you want, you always have to remember a graceful exit is always the best exit, no matter what. And boy, that's hard in the moment. I don't see that here, though. I'm just saying, you have to have that idea in your head of whatever's going to happen is meant to happen, and you want the best for the person, and they want the best for you. Speak only with love. When you think about the future, no matter how it goes. Okay. All right. So we have. Now, I have to point this out. I feel like I have to do this every time because I always get somebody in the comments that says, "Oh my God, that jerk. I don't have anything to do with them, blah, blah, blah." This isn't your reading, okay? If that's the case, this is not your reading. I hope you got something out of it, but, not everything's going to resonate with everybody. And if there's someone here that you've been in a relationship with that's been horrible to you, then by all means, please, I'm begging you, get out of that. Go find your peace. This is different. This is two people that see it's something valuable and worth fighting for here. Okay. So you have the ladybug, which I've been seeing a lot of, and this means luck is on your side, but this being in your reading, it could mean luck is in the air, like luck is around you. It's a sign of something to come as well, something becoming lucky. You have home and garden party, so having something to celebrate as far as home and garden. So like something coming together, something growing, and it has to do with your home or your foundation or your security. And you have the owl, which is about wisdom and seeing all angles of something. And then you have one letter, it's an F, which could mean future, forever, family, finally. There's also one more that I'm not going to say, but it just popped in my head. So that's that. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to leave you here. I hope this helps. I want to say good luck to you guys with this, and hopefully it resonated. And thank you so much for your support and your kindness as always, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.